Hey everyone, how's it going? Rich from Rich TCG Bets. Wilds unknown, prices are falling, the sky is falling. Yes, the numbers are down for the singles looking at pre-release and the big box release and a week from big box release, but that's actually somewhat normal. And I wanted to just talk about what I'm seeing currently with the data and what's happening to the singles right now from Wilds Unknown, mainly in the Iconic and the Enchanted realm. I'm not looking at legendaries right now, mainly because I forgot to see pre-release prices of those and it's going to take too long to get that, but that's besides the point. Let's just go ahead and dive right into these numbers. So taking a look at the Iconics, first off, I divided this into 4 different categories. So I divided it into what was their price at pre-release. So 2 weeks ago from today, so on May 8th, when they hit the market, what was their price like at the end of the day on TCG Player? So what was their market price? The second one is big box release. So that's May 15th. At the end of the day, what was the price on TCG Player for these cards? And then this morning I pulled what is their price currently on TCG Player. So 1 week after is going to be 1 week after the big box release. So we're going to be looking at a 2-week time period here. And then the percentage is just going to be looking at that 2-week time period. So at release versus today, where is this card right now? So these are the 2 Iconics. We have Buzz Lightyear doing really well. And honestly, the TCG Player price isn't showing it completely because this card is, I wouldn't say high volume wise selling for like 1600 plus, just because not a lot of people have it, but the market for it is closer to 1600, 1700 for sure. It's just that TCG Player doesn't have as many sales and they haven't been able to catch up to that point. So take that with a grain of salt with a lot of these sales as well too, but we do see that it is in the green, up almost 10% from that pre-release price. I mean, I'm kicking myself not buying it right away at 1200. I really thought it would drop at the big box and I was like, I'll buy it then, and it shot up to like 1500 and I was like, okay, well, we'll probably drop a week later, and now it's up to like 1700. So the chances of me getting this card are dwindling as the day goes by, the days go by, unless I pull it myself, which, let's be real, is probably not going to happen. The Merida, on the other hand, has seen the inverse happen. So it started off at 978, pretty close to the $1,000 mark. And I think a lot of people realized like this wasn't going to be a $1,000 Enchanted, but it barely dropped market price after a week, mainly because just not many sales happened for this card. And even today, 2 weeks later, there aren't too many sales for this card, but the market price has dropped quite a bit, closer to 15% with this. And honestly, I can see this card dropping closer to 750, but I don't really see it going much lower than that. I think we need to remember as collectors, players, investors, whatever is bringing you to Lorcana right now, these are the first Pixar iconic cards, and I think that's going to bring a lot of value to these 2 Iconics. I'm going to have another video talking about why I'm really high on this set, but that's kind of like a sneak preview of like, with this being the first Pixar Enchanted, she being a Disney princess, him being from Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear, I think these cards are just going to do really well in the long run. And so if they do dip a little bit more, I do expect a quick rebound for these. Looking at the Enchanteds now, so I have this in order of highest price at the pre-release time. So Jessie was, for the longest time, for like a whole week, maybe a little bit more than a week, the highest valued Enchanted card. We saw her sitting at $329 at release, and then she dipped a little bit to $275, but now she's dipped all the way below $200. If you take a look at the other 2 cards, you've got A Friend of Me and Alien, they've dipped, well, I guess Alien has not, but you've got A Friend of Me has dipped, but they're still above $300. Both cards are above $300 currently, and I think there was just a lot of speculation that Jessie would be the most popular because she's really close-knit with Buzz and Woody. But at the end of the day, I honestly, she's a pretty playable card too, so maybe that played a big factor in it. But at the end of the day, you've got In Front of Me and Alien are solidifying themselves as the 2 biggest chases outside of the iconic cards. in this set. So you've got in front of me is only down 4%, like I said, still over 300. And the alien card has actually gained about 7.5%. We're not going to see too many cards in this sample gain. So the fact that it's gained, like it's going to just keep exploding. I think these cards are awesome. And as we go to the next one, I want you to pay attention. What are the similarities between these three cards and the next four cards? And so I will reveal the answer in just a little bit, but the next highest value cards are Frozone, Mr. Incredible, and Mrs. Incredible. These have all dropped quite a bit. Frozone being a little over 200 and now down to 122. Mr. Incredible was close. It was 168, dropped to 130, so not too big of a drop. But Mrs. Incredible has dropped more than 50%, going from $200 to just $99. And so the first that we've seen so far, that is below that $100 range. And then, sorry, I meant the next five. So Syndrome we have here, similar to Mrs. Incredible, dropped 50% from 218 all the way down to 108. I think that's one of the coolest cards, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I would love to pull that enchanted card. I think it's really aesthetically pleasing. I like the colors. Obviously, I don't like the villain. He's a bad guy, but cool character nonetheless. And then we have Jack Jack there going from 180 to 115. But the interesting thing, which I think a lot of people speculated to be true, but it's cool that we're seeing it 2 weeks later, the top enchanted cards. All the Toy Story cards are top three, and then the next five are all incredible cards. I think that was pretty obvious that these would be the most popular cards. But to me, like, these are like, whoa, 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 like sirens. Like, the most popular IPs, I say this in so many videos, are going to be the ones that do the best in the long term, because as Lorcana grows and grows, you're going to get more collectors and more people that are just big fans of Disney entering the hobby and just wanting to collect the cards, not necessarily play the game. That's what Pokemon has done over the last 30 years. People obviously wanted to catch them all, get all the cards, but the player base was primarily where the game was, and you would see that the game was carried by the player base. But now in today's world of Pokemon, like, it's mainly collectors. The player base is such a small percentage of the Pokemon TCG that the collectors just want to have all the cards. They want to have all the packs and everything to invest in it to collect. And we're seeing that here right now with Wilds Unknown just after 2 weeks. And so the number 9 most expensive enchanted is, I think, What Else Can I Do? Yeah, What Else Can I Do? It's, I'm totally blanking on her name. Isabella, there we go, is on the card. And this card has dropped from $133 to $90. It was anticipated to be pretty playable. It still is. Like, I still see it in decks, but definitely not as playable as people initially thought it. But it could change any second. After this, we see Leviathan, we see Luisa Madrigal, and then we see Through the Sky. So another one from Brave. Again, Pixar is still trying to float atop. The Leviathan, I saw a lot of people like love this card and think it was amazing. I hate the movie, first off, and then I just don't like the artwork. I don't like when there's just so much going on and it's kind of hard to tell what exactly that you're looking at. But it's still above $100. It's still doing really well. If Enchanted is at or around $100, in my mind, like, that's really good for an Enchanted to do. And so at the number 10 spot, it is sitting at 100. We have Luisa dropping another one that people thought would be very playable that isn't as playable as people thought. And then Touch the Sky. I don't know too much about the playability around this, but it's holding pretty strong, only down 11% from its pre-release prices. Next, we have Kita from Atlantis. Again, surprising, honestly, that she's up. I know that she is getting some consideration for playability, but only at $93. Like, if the minute people decide that she's not playable, this card will drop. I do think the artwork's great, but just not a beloved character. Same with Isabella. Again, she already has a different Enchanted that I think looks better. That's totally biased because I love the color blue and I love Sapphire decks. But she has dropped 30% from $98 to $68. And then what I believe is the biggest drop of the video is Zipper from $200 flat to $70. Like, I remember when I pulled data for this a couple weeks ago, I only saw one sale and it was at $200. And so take that with what you want. But the fact that someone bought it for $200 thinking this would be a very expensive card kind of blows my mind. Like, $70 is where it's sitting right now. It's probably going to drop a little bit more just because it's one of the most, I would say, like, undesirable cards in this set. Again, unless it gets some playability, like, I expect it to continue to drop over the next week or two. We've got Milo dropping about 35% from 133 to 86. The family matters. The family is scattered. There we go. I need glasses maybe. Going from $119 to $51, so a 56% decrease. And then this was the lowest card for like basically this whole time up until the last couple of days. It was started at $65 and now it's $59. I think it's like the family tapestry is what it's called, but it is now the second lowest card. And so for the lowest Enchanted in a set to be $51 is actually really good. Again, it's only been out for 2 weeks, and so I can expect these prices to drop to maybe the 40s. But it's really cool seeing that these enchanteds are holding the ground. Like other sets, especially like location enchanteds, you can buy in like the teens, $15, $16, $17. And I don't think any of these enchanteds are going to go to that sort of floor. But overall, Woody's a little scared, but you can see that the pre-release prices, we started off at $5,300. After big box, we dropped down to $50 or $4,500, and then over a week, we only dropped like $150 to $4,400. So overall, we are down 17.5%. Again, this is very normal. This is expected. We saw this in Fabled too. A lot of the Fabled Enchanted went below $100. And now I think you only have a couple that are below that $100 mark out of the 18, which is crazy. And so even a set as amazing as Fabled, like this happens. The prices are high at the very beginning because everyone wants to make sure that they get it, or they're trying to make a grading play. And then as more and more come to the market, we see a lot more supply outweigh the demand and these prices started to drop. But like I said, I do think this is going to be like not the standard. With this being the very first Pixar set, I think these prices are going to bounce back up. If not for the whole set, specifically the Pixar ones, and specifically the top 8 that we looked at from Toy Story and from The Incredibles. So just wanted to share what we're doing right now. I appreciate it if you made it to the end of the video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, but hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you all in the next video.